My name is Lisa Rubin. I'm a professor of psychology at the New School in New York City, and I have been researching body image in a variety of areas, but as I mentioned earlier, with a real interest in this idea of resistance and how we can resist the, quote, negative cultural messages about the body that are out there. What are the possibilities of resistance? What are the constraints on resistance? And what's it going to take to have that movement and social change? So from the academic lens, I think that we know that fat talk, I suppose, right, has many functions. One way that it's believed to function is, as a way to boost one's self-esteem. So if one says, I'm having a fat day, that, the hopeful response is somebody says, oh no, you look wonderful. But I think there is probably an element of, so many of us walk around with some degree of shame. There's a big spectrum around our body, so that somehow if one names that before somebody else has an opportunity to name it, I think you've buffered yourself from the accusation that you don't know that you've got a body that could be problematic. So I think that's one function of fat talk. That I think it can bring people together. Obviously, it can also bring people apart. As it's interesting, because I will say that as a mother to a son, I wonder if I think about it as much as I would if I had a daughter, and that bothers me because the men in my life struggle with body image issues too, but I'm certainly attuned to the ways in which, it's a fascinating thing, because you spend the first at least few weeks, and now I'm only half a year into this experience, worrying about whether, in my case, I had a child who was pretty on the lighter end, the low weight end of the spectrum, panicked about my child not weighing enough, and then finally, has put on weight and sort of is getting on the charts. These charts that I spent a lot of time critiquing, wanting him on those charts. What do you mean he doesn't even register? And as soon as that happens, people, he's look at those thunder thighs, and there are such loving comments about a baby's fat, and at the same time, this struggle around, can there ever be positive comments around chubbiness, around fat, or, even in a baby. And I think that the attention to childhood obesity has made parents very anxious about their children's weight in a way that perhaps has made it even harder to embrace the adorable, cute chubby cheeks and thick thighs, that is, I think, quintessentially and probably throughout time, part of what makes babies adorable. Sort of, those charts are all about standardization, and the reality is kids sort of move in and on and off the charts, but more and more we are a culture of measurement and Fitbits and sort of quantifying every aspect of our lives and our bodies, and so every moment of it, being told you're not standard, you're not, quote, measuring appropriately, becomes a significant source of anxiety. Again, I think our bodies are our first source of knowledge, and I don't think that simply shifting our cognitive set is enough around these things. I think we have to change our world and change our representations, change literally how we live in our bodies, how we move our bodies, how we love our bodies, how we love other people's bodies, in order to see that like a more complete empowerment, or a more fundamental shift in how we experience our bodies.